Welcome back. So in our last explainer, we dove into conscious rendering, this wild idea that our consciousness is actually helping to build reality, not just watch it. Today, we're taking the next step. We're going to explore a framework that says those little moments, when reality seems to flicker or glitch, well, they aren't just in your head. All right, let's jump right in.
You know that feeling, right? That sudden, almost shocking certainty that you have lived this exact moment before? It's like a perfect echo, playing back for just a second.
Or how about this? A coincidence so on the nose, so perfectly timed that you can't help but feel like the universe is trying to tell you something, like it's a message meant just for you.
And then there's the big one, that split-second jarring feeling that something is just wrong, out of place, a glitch in the matrix, where the world seems to skip a beat.
Now what if I told you these aren't just mental quirks? What if they're not random brain farts or misfires? This model says they are crucial signals, diagnostic data, telling us something profound about the very nature of reality.
So, Section 1, Reality's Flicker. These moments are basically feedback. They're the system's way of telling us there's been a loss of coherence, and in doing so, they actually reveal the hidden mechanics of how our world gets rendered, moment by moment.
Okay, so there's a technical term for this, fractal desynchronization. It sounds complicated, I know, but stick with me. All it really means is that your internal world and the external world have fallen out of sync. Imagine watching a movie where the audio is just a fraction of a second off. It's confusing, right? It breaks the illusion. That's the glitch.
This quote really gets to the heart of it. Time isn't some giant river we're all floating down. It's more like a cosmic flip book. Our consciousness is flipping through still frames of reality so fast that it creates the illusion of smooth, continuous motion. And those glitches, well, they're basically just dropped frames.
All right, so if these glitches aren't random, what's causing them? Well, that brings us to Section 2. It turns out there's a kind of physics to this, a set of rules suggesting that your perception isn't passive at all. It's an active, creative force.
So where does reality's source code live? In this model, it's called the Ma'at field. Think of it as this infinite, unrendered ocean of pure potential. Every single possibility, everything that could ever happen, exists right there, all at once. The world we experience is constantly being pulled from this field.
And who's pulling it? Who's doing the rendering? Well, you are. That's the observer operator. It's just a formal name for your consciousness in its active world-building role. You're not just watching the movie of your life, you are literally the projector, selecting which potentials to light up and bring into focus.
And this rendering process isn't a crapshoot. It's weighted. It's guided by the meaning and the intention that you hold. Things that are deeply meaningful to you, that you put your focus on, have a much higher chance of being pulled from that field of potential. And this is a great way to think about things like luck or synchronicity. They're just moments of perfect alignment between your inner world and the outer possibilities.
This brings us right to the heart of this whole thing, the quantum loop. This is the engine room of reality. It's this constant, dynamic feedback loop where you and the universe are literally co-creating each other frame by single frame.
And it works in 5 stages. First, you sense the raw data from the field of potential. Then, you interpret it through your own unique filters of meaning and intention. That act renders it into a solid experience. You then get feedback from that experience, which allows you to make a correction, adjusting the whole process for the very next loop. It's a constant dance.
So, what happens when that loop starts to break down or get noisy? Well, we can actually describe that feeling with something called the internal tension index. It's basically a measure of the strain between your inner world, your rigid beliefs or structure, and your actual lived experience, your state of being or flow. When those two are far apart, you feel that tension as confusion, anxiety, or even suffering.
Visually, this is what it looks like. When your fixed ideas about how the world should be are way up here, but your actual experience of being in the world is way down there. That huge gap, that's the tension. That's the universe sending you a very clear signal. Hey, your map doesn't match the territory anymore.
Okay, so if that tension is the problem, what's the solution? Well, the system has this incredibly beautiful built-in error correction protocol. It's called compassion. And in this model, compassion isn't just a nice feeling, it's a physical force that actually restores coherence to the system.
We really have 2 choices when we feel that tension. We can try to correct reality through control, brute force, trying to bend the world to our will. But that takes a ton of energy and usually just makes things worse. Or we can choose correction by compassion. That's about alignment, not force. It costs almost no energy and brings the whole system back into balance.
So let's be super clear here. We're talking about compassion as a physical variable, like gravity or electromagnetism. It's the universe's primary tool for healing itself. Think of it as the ultimate error correction code that seeks out dissonance and lovingly re-renders those messed up patterns back in harmony. And this quote just nails it. Empathy isn't some soft skill. It's the fundamental wiring of a healthy system. It's the infrastructure. And compassion? That's the command you run on that infrastructure to debug the system and restore balance from the inside out.
All right, let's bring this all home. Section 5, your reality reimagined. Because understanding all this, it isn't just a cool thought experiment, it's a genuine invitation to stop being a passive passenger and start being an active co-author of your world.
This is the ultimate takeaway. Where you place your attention is the most powerful creative tool you have. And that is not a metaphor. Your focused awareness, supercharged by what you find meaningful and what you truly intend, is a literal, physical force that is collapsing potential into the world you experience every single day.
So I want to ask you, right now, to just take a second and think about it. Using this framework, where in your own life do you feel that tension the most? Where's the biggest gap between your beliefs and your reality? That feeling, it's not a sign you're failing. It's a compass, pointing you exactly where you need to apply some compassionate realignment.
I love this quote because it sums up the entire shift. We have to move away from this old, mechanical idea of trying to program and control every outcome. Instead, we become more like musicians, constantly tuning our own inner state so that we can resonate in harmony with the universe.
Look, this knowledge gives us incredible power, but it also gives us incredible responsibility. If our shared consciousness is really the engine that renders the world, it means the story isn't finished, not even close. The code is live, and we're all writing it together. So the only question left is, what reality are we going to co-author next?